Welcome back to another edition of Worst Case Scenario. I'm Bill. We got D'Lo, we got Bennett, and today we're covering the AFC South.
What?
AFC
I
South.
thought we was gonna be talking about Bigfoot.
No, we ain't. We're talking about the AFC South. And
Talk about Bigfoot next time.
That's in one of Bennett's story times.
Hey guys, we appreciate you guys watching the videos. Please remember, like it if you like it. Subscribe, share it. Let us know if there's something that you want to see that we're not doing. We want to hear from you guys. But today we start with the Houston Texans, who finished last year 3-13-1, fourth in the division. Now, they had 9 picks in this draft. They went after quarterbacks, receivers, centers. They went after a little bit of everything, man. I love the fact that they went and got Stroud. Will Anderson moving back up. That was huge to do that. It cost them, but it was huge. D'Lo, what do you like about what the Texans did in this draft?
Well, I think that they made some moves that they're hoping is going to change their franchise. Will Anderson, C.J. Stroud, things like that. They even went after guys. They went after a center, Juice Scruggs from Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
They tried to replace. Who was it that went to the Cowboys? Was it Cooks from the Texans? Anyway, the Texans had
Cooks
traded.
did leave.
Brandon Cooks.
They had traded a receiver to the Cowboys from the Texans, so they replaced him with.
What did he pronounce? The linebacker's name that they drafted.
They replaced him with Tank Dell and things like that, but I don't believe that the Texans. I believe the Texans kind of panicked a bit. I don't believe that they were sold on C.J. Stroud, and I don't believe that it was a move that they wanted to make, but at the same time, they felt like if they waited until the 12th pick to try to get their franchise quarterback, that he was probably going to be gone. So they changed their whole game plan around, ended up trading up to get the number 3 pick after they took Stroud second and got Anderson.
Yep.
So, it works for them. I don't know that it was the greatest move. It may end up hurting them in the future because they gave up a lot of picks to get up to that number 3 spot. So, that can hamper them in the future. That can hamper them from putting talent around Stroud to develop him. They keep doing Texan kind of things.
I like what they did, Bennett. What do you? They got a quarterback, and they picked up 2 centers in this draft.
Yeah, and who knows what they might have had Bryce ahead of C.J. Stroud, but I mean, who knows? They definitely had to consider before the draft that they were going to have to take one or the other. So if they wasn't okay with it, I'm sure they would have made a move then.
Yeah.
And when thought about Will Anderson, maybe they would have took Anderson and not had to trade back up to get Anderson. Well, so I think they're totally comfortable with what they did.
Yeah. If you guys remember when we did the top 10 mock draft that we did, I picked them taking.
I picked them taking C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, you guys both did. I picked them taking Tyrell Williams or whatever.
Yep.
And I had them coming back in at 12 and taking Anthony Richardson.
Yep.
So I don't know. Just everything that I heard leading up to the draft, they either put out one hell of a smoke screen or they really weren't sold on the guy that they took. So
yeah, I think they put out a smoke screen. A lot of teams do that, right before the draft.
Yeah.
Some teams are better than others, but I think they were happy with what they got. I don't see anything really that stood out that was terrible. The Nate Dell wide receiver Houston pick. I mean, the guy is super fast, but it's not something that they usually deal with. He's 5'8", 165 pounds. He's got to be one of them gadget players, which I'm okay with. But you got to remember, when you get one of them gadget players, I mean, how long they last? 2-3 years usually.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if that's going to help your team win or, get out of the bottom of the barrel, then that's fine. But
you remember when a few years back when Minnesota had 3 receivers that were all under 6 foot, man? They had Percy Harvin. They had I can't even remember who it was. But
I remember when the Bears had Tarek Cohen.
Yeah.
And they lined him up at receiver, tailback. They had him doing read option stuff. And he was a playmaker for 2 years. He just didn't last.
Wayne Krebet. That's all I got to say.
I really wouldn't call him the same guy. He's actually more. I would call him more traditional of a slot receiver. He stuck around for a while.
Yeah.
Tell going over the middle one too many times against the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, but
cost him like his 8th concussion, and
It was a turf toe. He slipped and fell into the helmet.
I will tell you what picked out for me was that they took 2 centers in this draft. They took the number 3 rated center and the number 8 rated center in the draft. They took Jarrett Peterson from Notre Dame late in the 6th round. He's 6'5", 306 pounds, but they also took Juice Scruggs from Penn State at center, 6'3", 301 pounds. That's weird, but they got the number 3 and the number 8 center.
Guard.
I think both these guys are going to thrive in the NFL, and I think one of these guys are going to have to move to guards, like you said. I like the pick also late in the 5th round that they got the Alabama inside linebacker Henry To'o. I believe that's how you would say it. Not sure. Polynesian, 100%, yes. But I like that pick.
Hold
He's
on.
6'1".
I like what you just did there.
What's that?
To'o.
To'o.
I don't know how to pronounce that either. Is it 2020?
I thought it was Toto.
There you go. So you got 3 options. I do think that was their best pick.
This is not Kansas deal.
Besides the first 2 big picks, I think that was their best pick.
Yeah.
That was actually a compensatory pick. Did you know that?
No, I did not. But
Yeah,
I think that they actually had a pretty good draft for the Houston Texans. I don't think it was bad in any means. So I think they got some players that are going to come out and that's going to start for them. And they're rebuilding after the whole Deshaun Watson fiasco. They're rebuilding and they're doing what they got to do. You know what I'm saying? But it cost them to jump back up into that round and move all the way up to get Will Anderson.
I mean, that division shows promise, but at the same time, it was just abysmal last year. So it's like if you improve, you've got a chance. I mean, you're a wild card. Maybe you can win the division. I mean, you've got a chance in that division right now. At least how it stood at the end of last year.
I agree. And with that, we will move on to the Indianapolis Colts, who had 12 picks in this draft. They finished the season last year 4-12-1. They were 3rd in their division. Colts, I felt like were promising last year. I think coming into the season, a lot of people had them winning that division. And somewhere along the lines, everything fell apart. Finally, bringing in the older NFL quarterbacks, they decided we're not doing this anymore. Even though I believe that they should have given what's his name? Gardner Minshew. I feel like they should have given him a full year at starter. He's not that old. He's still in his mid-20s. I think that they should have given him a chance. They didn't feel that way. They went out and got Anthony Richardson, the biggest bodied quarterback in this draft. They went out and got him. There's other picks that I'd like to go over, but I'm going to go ahead and hand it up to you, D'Lo. Tell me what you think the Indianapolis Colts did right and wrong in this draft.
I thought that the Colts actually had a really good draft, man. They split their picks up evenly. They took 6 offensive players and 6 defensive players. They added depth at their offensive line. They added another tight end. They added another running back. They added another receiver. Yeah, man, I think that they split their picks up well and things like that. I think that the Julius Brent's pick is going to fill a hole. The guy that they just traded to the Cowboys, their cornerback, I just said him yesterday, cornerback. Damn, I can't even remember the names, man. But anyway, they traded away a cornerback to one of their starting cornerbacks to the Dallas Cowboys. So their 2nd round pick will come in and fill that need.
I don't have my phone to look it up, man.
Yeah, I mean,
I know who you're talking about, though. Yeah, he was damn good.
They also got a linebacker in Titus Leo. They picked him up in the 7th round. I don't know if they expect him to turn out to be anything, but with Darius / Shaquille Leonard continuously having nagging injuries, I think that they got to try to put a little depth in that linebacker position. Not a bad draft for the Colts. I don't know that they did enough to improve their standing. I think that they would probably be better off if they allowed Gardner Minshew to start this year, but I don't know. Everything I'm seeing, they're already saying that Anthony Richardson's probably going to be the guy starting out. So.
Not a bad team, Bennett. It really wasn't. They had a down year last year. They
I tell you what, as soon as the injuries happened to the offensive line and the linebacker squad, everything collapsed.
yes.
So
And the running back.
So if that tells you anything, yes, the running back.
That was their workhorse.
But I mean, at the same time, if that offensive line goes down like the way they did, I don't know if it would have mattered what running back you got, which they have a good running back, but I don't think, I think that was already shot. I think the biggest ordeal last year was the injuries to the offensive line from the beginning and the linebacker squad, which is the strength of the core on defense. They held everything together. They do have a good pass rush. They got a D line. They did have a decent secondary, but once that linebacking core went down and the offensive line went down, it was like everything was shot.
Yeah, I agree.
And they were just like constantly just trying to poke put their fingers in holes in the ship while it was sinking. It wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
Did anything stand out to you about the Colts draft? Any players?
Two things stood out to me. One was that they had 12 picks.
That's big.
And that they divided them equally, like Nilo said, 6 and 6 with offense and defense. The other thing that stood out was I think they absolutely got a steal in Darius Rush from Florida.
Yep.
Well,
he went to South Carolina, but yeah, he is hell of a cornerback. Hell of a cornerback. Man.
Yeah, but he's physical. He's got a high motor. He's big. I mean, that was their biggest need was corner. They drafted Julius Brents in the second round, and then they went back and got Darius Rush. And for whatever they got there, you might be looking at 2 rookies, which is not always a good thing for your first year, but you might be looking at 2 rookies starting your 2 starting corners on the outside.
Well, I also like Blake Freeman, the offensive tackle from BYU. They picked up 6'8", 302 pounds. I liked him. And I really like that defensive end from Northwestern. I'm going to butcher his name. Adatamawa. Adabawar.
Don't ever do that.
Yeah. Hey, it's how it goes. Anyway, that is a 6'2", 282-pound man that has a high motor that gets in there. And I believe that he's going to really help. He's going to end up finding. And here's the thing. They had, several picks in the 4th round. Where they were able to get these. Oh, no, they have four picks in the 5th round. That was big, where they got Darius Rush, Will Mallory, a tight end from Miami at 6'5", 239 pounds, and Evan Hall, running back from Northwestern, highly productive pass catcher out of the backfield. He's 5'10", 209 pounds. I believe that they found a lot of either starting pieces or key pieces that's going to work with that.
You know what's crazy is
Adam Scheffler saying don't use his name no more.
Oh, okay.
you know what's crazy is that's 2 draft reviews in a row that we found a 6'8" offensive tackle.
Yeah.
So
that's big body, and I like the tight end though. They've had a history because
speaking of tight end, that was one of their surprising things last year, and they signed another one.
Well, they lost Doyle there, and they had to go with Cox.
They got Allie Cox and Ogletree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they stood out, and I mean, can't wait to see what
that. Here's the question: though. Could Evan Hall be the next great White Hope at running back at the NFL?
It's just a running back, man. and any running back that's getting drafted could be the next great running back.
I agree.
Adam Schefter, ladies and gentlemen.
Listen.
Are you getting any calls right now? Because me and Dilo are just Adam Schefter's blowing us up.
I don't believe in Adam Schefter. Adam Schefter doesn't hit me up.
He just wants to know if you're pronouncing his name correct.
I probably screw that up too. But on from that, we're going to move to the Jacksonville Jaguars, man. Shad Khan's team, Tony Khan.
Another 12 picks.
Yes, they came. They brought it, man. They had 13 picks in this draft. 13 picks. They finished 9-8 last year. First in the division. I think everybody was probably surprised that they won the division, but then they won. And then they won. You know what I'm saying? They look good in the postseason, all right? 13 picks. I'd like to go with their 3rd pick they got, Tank Bigsby, a running back from Auburn, who is a ground and pounder, man. He eats up that yards. He's going to probably start out in the backup role right away, even though they have other guys there. There's issues. But nobody can run the ball the way that he does. He doesn't go around people. He goes through people. So I really like that. I like Brenton Strange, the tight end from Penn State, 6'4", 253 pounds. What was crazy was that their first 3 picks were 7th on the respective rankings for that each position. 7th each one was. So and of course Anton Harrison going first overall with I can't remember what pick it was, but he was our first pick, 6'4", 315-pound offensive tackle. You know what I'm saying? Those offensive tackles went off the board in the first round. So, Dustin, what do you think of it? Dila, what do you think about what the Jaguars did in the draft this year?
I think they improved on what they already had going last year. Again, I believe they stacked talent around Trevor Lawrence, put another playmaker in the backfield, put another playmaker on the outside, brought in linemen. There wasn't really much bad about what they did. They brought in some extra linebackers. They worked on their defense a lot. Out of 13 picks,
12 of them was different positional picks.
Yes.
Only one did they double pick at, and that was safety. They got 2 safeties.
That's what I was going to say. I couldn't keep up with them. There were so many picks and so many different.
They're a young team too, and they made the playoffs.
But out of 13 picks, 8 of them went to defense. So they're planning on playing hard-nosed defensive football.
I think it's the one thing that they were missing from their team last year. It seemed like Lawrence picked it up better than what he did his first year. You know what I'm saying? So he did not look bad, but they needed that defense to step up, and boy, did it step up last year when they needed it.
Everything I'm reading, Johnson, the safety that they picked up out of Texas A&M, was a lot of analysts safety one in this year's draft. So, you know, they could have got a steal there. They picked him up in the 5th round, you know. So if you get the best safety in the draft in the 5th round, you got yourself a steal. So they got a guy here named Eric Hallett. I don't know what position he plays.
Safety, Pittsburgh.
Safety? Yeah, well, it didn't say what position he was there. So
Adam Scheffler lied to him, man.
So they got multiple safeties in this draft. I don't know if that was a huge need for them. Like I said, I think just adding to the defensive depth plus putting some playmakers around Trevor Lawrence, I don't think that was an issue, man. I think they got a good overall draft. I'd say it was about a middle of the pack draft.
What do you think, Bennett?
I agree with Deal. I think it's middle of the pack, but I mean, you're top of your division. You're already a young team. Mm-hmm. You're just adding all these new people, and I don't want to say this as like them being a GM or someone being professional, but I think that this was all over the place. You had a lot of picks, and you're just like, I got a lot of picks. I'm just gonna pick from here. I mean, you slap shit against the wall, something's going to stick.
Well, I think they found 2 starters in the first 2 picks.
I think they tried to.
Yeah. You don't think that Harrison, that offensive tackle from Oklahoma, you don't think that he's going to start right away?
I got no backing in nothing they did at all. Nothing.
Okay. I think that they found.
I mean, I think
key
that
contributors.
I think that they picked guys to be starters, key contributors, Pro Bowlers, whatever.
Yeah.
But nothing stood out. Nothing just jumped off the page.
Right.
Yeah.
I think they had a lot of picks. They already had a team a young team that won the division in a weak division with a lot of injuries.
I'll give you that. It was a weak division.
And I don't know if these guys panicked. I'm not saying it's a bad draft. I'm just saying I don't know if these guys panicked or what. It was like the Colts are better than us. The Titans are better than us. Let me just draft as many different players as I can in different positions.
I don't believe they have that. I don't believe they have that because they won the division. So I don't think that they're looking at they're better than us.
Sure, they think they're confident, but I mean, were they the best team? If everybody stays whole, injury, no injuries last year, were they the best team? No.
Talent-wise, I believe the Colts were the best team in that division.
Sure.
With only 4 wins though, and they had 9.
Yeah, but the Colts. They faced a lot of injuries last year, man. So to key players,
injuries.
Yeah, to key
also
players.
Coaching. Coaching plays a role in that, man. So, all right.
Who's to say that when it got down low and they were just like, hey, let's bomb?
Yeah.
Does that happen in the NFL? A lot of people don't like to talk about that. I'm a professional. I'm trying to win every game. That goes from players to the coaches, whatever. But, I mean, come on. Does it really happen? If you're 4-11, let me put it this way: if you're 4-9, are you really trying to make it to 7-9?
So say that the Jets start out next year and they're say 0-8 or 0-9.
Don't use
that. They're bombing. They are
Do you
bombing.
think that they take Rodgers out and stop him from playing that 65%?
No, because they don't want it to be obvious that we're bombing.
Yeah.
Instead,
First
they'll
of all,
take
don't ever
a
use the
guard and
Jets.
tackle out and let
Oh, my
Rodgers get the
God.
shit kicked out of him.
All right, you know what, dude? This dude's hand shaking. Before we do the last thing, we're going to go ahead and take a shot of this delicious
American honey.
American honey Tennessee whiskey. There you go, Bennett. It's Popeye here with the spinach. That was like a double shot. All right, we're going to hit up the Tennessee Titans here, who I think had the best draft in the division. They finished 7-10, second in the division, only 6 picks, and they all went offense. Every one of their picks were offense. 2 offensive tackles, 1 QB, 1 running back, 1 tight end, and 1 receiver. And I'm going to hand it off to you. Tell me who you think possibly was their best out of the draft.
The person that I think is going to be the guy that you see sticks out from the pack is Skoronski. I believe even if they use him as a right tackle, I believe he's got the technique and all that to be able to be a great right tackle. You'll probably see him in multiple Pro Bowls, especially if he ends up as a guard. Multiple Pro Bowls for the guy. He's going to be an anchor.
Arms.
He's going to be an anchor on that line for years to come. Things like that. Phil has a lot of confidence in Will Levis. He was their second. He was their second round pick.
There's one reason why.
Everything to
IQ.
me looks like the Titans are done with Tannehill.
Yep.
So Levis is probably going to get his opportunity sooner rather than later. They also drafted a running back out of Tulane.
Yep. Jay Spears.
That could possibly be because there's a lot of rumors flying around right now that they're looking to trade Derrick Henry. So
he improved his draft stock too in the Senior Bowl.
Yeah,
because he came in and it was about like average of the pack running backs, but he really killed it in the Senior Bowl and rose that draft stock. So
and the way I feel about it is Derrick Henry possibly got it, but everything that I'm hearing about the Titans is that they are basically getting ready to go into rebuilding mode. Here's the thing that surprised me the most about the Titans. They have a defensive-minded head coach and did not take one single defensive player this draft. That was very surprising to me. So,
Bennett, what stuck out to you about the Tennessee Titans draft, please?
Nothing really stuck out. I like the Josh Wild.
Oh.
Out of all them things, Skoronski, Levis, Tyjae Spears, that all
Talk about how big he is.
Josh Wild, the tight end out of Cincinnati. I think if you see anything that actually stands out of, like, we're going to be looking at Skoronski, Levis, Spears, even though you got what's the guy's name, the running back?
Oh, Derrick Henry.
Even though you got Derrick Henry, if Tyjae Spears stands out, like even as the developmental players, third down running back, whatever he is, Josh Wild, I think.
Wilding out, baby.
If you see anything, it's going to be out of him.
6'7". 6'7".
Something that you're not used to.
Talk about that. 6'7" tight end in the league, baby.
That don't always work out, man. Gronk was 6'7". That worked out great. You got some of these bigger guys, and they play tight end. And if they don't got any speed to them or anything like that, or even hand skills, then they turn out just to be blockers. And next thing you know, they're the 6th tackle on the goal line.
Yeah. See, I guess it's different because I feel like out of the 6 picks, they went all offense, but they hit on them. When you look at getting Jalen Duncan, offensive tackle from Maryland, 6'6", 306 pounds, they got him in the 5th round. Colton Dow, a wide receiver from University of Tennessee
Martin.
And when they played Tennessee this year, the University, the Volunteers, dude, he had 7 catches for like 112 yards. This guy brings it, man. I'm telling you. I think that all their picks meant something, and I think all these picks eventually will either be backups or starters on this team. Now, they didn't go with the defensive-minded coach. They didn't go defensive picks, but they went offense, and I like that. I like that he's like, hey, we're not just a
I think they just went for the sure thing. They had a limited amount of picks. I think they went for the sure thing. I don't think nothing stands out. Nothing's like outrageous. You like the Levis thing crazy.
I do.
I just think every place that they pick these guys is where they should have been picked. I don't think they reached nor stole.
The reason I wasn't crazy on the Levis pick is when you're coming into this draft and you got the potential to bump yourself up to the number 1 pick, you should be refining your skills. You know what he did? He went and refined his biceps. You know what I mean? He made himself into a beach bod. He didn't worry about his skills. He just went in and made sure that his body looked good.
It's springtime. Buff up your bod.
Yeah.
Hey, sun's out, guns out, baby. That's all I'm saying. All right, guys. But
as you can tell, he hasn't been working on his body.
Hey,
You know?
yeah, I've been working one way or another, baby. but coming up this season, who wins this division, boys? Who do you guys have winning this division this year?
You got a
I'll
quarter.
let you take that one first.
He's saying it's a coin toss.
You got a quarter.
Yeah, it's one of those divisions.
I'll respond back.
I'll go then
Okay.
after. You want me to go ahead? And
Yeah, go ahead, bud.
I'll take I think the Colts are going to have a bounce back season.
Man, fuck that.
But the only reason that I say that is
because he lives in Indiana.
I believe that they're going to come to their senses and use Gardner Minshew. That's the reason I think they're going to win the division. So
Hell no.
I like that.
I think Jonathan Taylor has a bounce back season.
They have all the keys there.
Yeah. So I
Play them.
believe the Colts win the division this year. I believe the Jags are right behind them, maybe 1 or 2 wins behind them. I still believe the Texans are at the bottom, so that puts the Titans
So
in
what
the
do you got? You got the Titans because of Levis?
No, I don't have them.
You got the Jags?
No. I actually have the Colts too.
Fuck both.
I believe the Colts rebound because I believe that they're going to set Richardson and let him learn. I hope so, anyway. And I believe Gardner Minshew tears it up, blows it up out of the water. I really do. I think the Colts win it. The only thing the Colts are really missing is that big playmaker receiver. All right. Second this year in the league, I believe that the Jags step back, and I believe the Titans take over if they give Levis the starting
I knew
job.
he was going to say that. I knew he was going to throw Levis.
Jaguars
in the
finished third.
Nope. Jaguars win. Levis comes in, makes the Titans worse than the Texans.
Texans
Colts
stink it
second
up.
place.
Really? So Texans third, Titans fourth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
No. As long as they use Levis.
Okay. All right. So if Tannehill stays in, Titans still go over the Texans.
I actually think they win the division with Tannehill.
Wow, shit! There's your shakeup right there, boys and girls. If Tannehill stays in, Bennett believes the Titans win the division.
There's no way he does. They didn't draft that kid to sit on the bench.
That's right. And he's a playmaker and he's a stud.
But they drafted him in the second round. I believe the Colts are more likely to start Richardson before the Titans are likely to start Levis, unless they find a trade partner for Tannehill.
Hey, so how did Richardson do on that in college?
He actually scored one of the best scores. Him and Bryce Young scored one of the best. C.J. Stroud scored one of the worst.
You know what that means? Absolutely nothing, because the only thing I care about is game footage.
That's
Because
true.
no cognitive test can show me how you were going to react when you have a real NFL defensive end or outside linebacker coming at you at full
Phil
speed.
passed the cognitive test with flying colors, and he slobbers on himself when he talks. So, I mean.
Hey,
Trevor Lawrence had more touchdowns than Anthony Richardson and Will Levis combined. Those two combined against him.
it's if Will Levis starts the full season.
Let's say he starts game 2. I'll give you that.
Richardson don't throw shit. You know what? He can't read a defense. I'm going to put it out there.
So this has been the
Worst case scenario.
Thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe. We thank you. Good night.
AC.
appreciate it, guys.
Oh my God.